My name is Raheem Nelson. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. I'm a graphic recorder, and today I'm going to be talking about the power that comes with graphic recording and relating that to perseverance and one of the experiences I had today. So when it comes to graphic recording, which is basically me, the artist, goes into a meeting, conference, fireside chat, those sorts of things. And I am basically in the background creating artwork that supports the speaker or the facilitator. It's funny because when I'm there, people usually don't see me working. They see the work projected onto a monitor or a projector screen because I connect to an iPad. I'm a mobile digital artist. So people are thinking that it's AI and wondering how this piece of art is coming together with AI, which is a larger conversation that I'm not covering in this video, but I just think it's interesting. So going back, I've been doing graphic recording for a few years now. It's only just started catching on in the past 2 years. And this has been after lots and lots and lots and lots of pitching. Pitched it to a few institutions when I came up with the idea to be a graphic recorder in the state of Connecticut. For the most part, I've done graphic recording other places like New York and California, but I wanted to really bring it to my hometown of New Haven, and I live in West Haven and I work in Milford. So I've graphic recorded in 2 of the 3 places, New Haven and Milford for the most part. So there was resistance initially with pitching the service because people weren't necessarily sure what the value was. And I had experience. I had like 3-4 years of experience, but I didn't have experience or really the social proof in Connecticut to get hired to do this. So I kept pitching and pitching and pitching. And I got some opportunities in New Haven finally to do basically an ad campaign for an accolade that New Haven won. We were top 52 places to be in the world for the New York Times. So that was one of my first major assignments. I was with the New Haven Department of Arts, Culture, and Tourism. And I can pinpoint that was my big break as a graphic recorder because there were a lot of eyes on that piece. I was paid well for it. It was for the city. The mayor was there. And this ended up turning into a very lucrative, very promising series of illustrations because I think I did about 4 or 5. I ended up winning a grant for the artwork as well, being able to create more illustrations for the city of New Haven, and then that turned into an art show. So fast forward to today, like just really seeing how graphic recording has snowballed. And the part that most artists will not tell you is just the amount of no's that you can get if you are creating something new and creating something innovative. And even though graphic recording has caught on for me and I'm able to get different gigs now and travel, I've been to New Orleans and a ton of other places for graphic recording, there have been periods of time where it's been like really dry. Like I'm just coming off of a dry spell, so to speak, where there has not been that much work at all. And I think part of the reason is due to this current administration. I don't really talk politics on the channel, but like that's just the way it is. This current administration has not really been kind to the arts, in my opinion. And a lot of my profits and income came from graphic recording for nonprofits. So the fact that I'm still able to get clients now and coming off of this dry spell has been very rewarding, and it's not something that I've taken for granted. So with today's work, I was contracted by a group of superintendents, the Superintendents Network, and I used to be a special needs paraprofessional So for something like this to come through the pipeline, I thought was really cool, being able to pull on my experience as a paraprofessional and kind of have that flow into the graphic recording. So this is what the process looks like for any kind of client that I'm going to work with. There's an initial email exchange. They decide to hire me. I create a contract. I get a deposit, and then I usually get the rest either in person or another check before or hand delivered to me at the event. So everything's just on the up and up. I make sure that the client's okay with the price. I research everything, and I'm good to go. The client that I was working with was very agreeable. Ended up being very easy. And it also helps that I've been getting a series of referrals from another graphic recorder I know in Hartford who is no longer able to take on new work. So she's been sending me the clients that she would usually get. So a lot of opportunities, and it's great to have different people in my corner to throw me work, especially if things are getting slow. So the way the day went was I woke up pretty early, coming from West Haven, going to New Haven. The site was at the New Haven Lawn Club, which I'd never been, and just very, very prestigious, to say the least. I always like to get on site at least 30 minutes to an hour early because I like to do things like check in with the client, meet the people I'm supposed to meet, and I'm going in already with a, you could say, sort of pre-populated graphic recording. I only have the logo from the client in the lower right-hand corner for brand identification. And then in the middle, I usually have a title of the session. So I had a title of the entire talk, and it was split up into different time frames. For the most part, it took place in one room. There were breakout groups, but we thought it was best if I stayed stationary in the main room so I could be tethered to the projector and project my artwork for people to see as they're coming in back and forth and discussing. And so we got started at 8 o'clock. It was really smooth. I didn't start graphic recording until 9 o'clock because there were just introductions. I typically don't graphic record any kind of introductions unless it's requested specifically from the client. So they didn't really get into the meat of it until 9 a.m. And what I did in advance, and I used Procreate for all my illustration, I probably made about like 8 to 10 copies because I knew there was going to be so much being discussed that I would want to make sure I had all my bases covered. I don't like to feel like I'm scrambling. Have to pivot here and there when it comes to graphic recording because there's so much information flying at me. But if I can be prepared, like having multiple copies of the branded illustration that I'm going to use, that makes things a lot easier. And then I can just click into whatever I need to illustrate, which is great. It makes things very simple, very effective, and easy for the client as well. So everything went really smooth. They did their breakout groups. They came back together. They discussed, and I captured pretty much the whole day from 8 to 12. And I think they went beyond that after lunch, but I was only contracted from 8 to 12 o'clock, which is fine. I captured a lot. I ended up doing 8 illustrations. And the great thing about the Procreate app is that it will create a time-lapse video of every brushstroke in the background. So I usually entice the client to hire me. One of the ways to hire me, because the graphic recording itself is amazing, is the time-lapse video. So a lot of people like that. They get that complimentary, and they get the illustrations, of course. One thing I like to do before I even leave the site, because I think of the client and if they had paid all this money to contract my services, they would want to get the work right away. And there was talk about them showing the work completed throughout the rest of the day. And I was only contracted until noon. So what I usually do anyway is just email a Dropbox folder with the artwork and the time-lapse videos so that they have everything and they're able to just kind of discuss and go from there. So circling back into the pitching part of it, I've pitched so much and I've got so many jobs under my belt in Connecticut, I don't have to pitch as much. Like, it's a lot easier to have word of mouth sell my services instead of me, which is really great. Oh, I've heard of you from this illustration from City of New Haven, or Arts and Ideas, or the Arts Council. So if you add gigs to your resume, and over time it accumulates, and it makes it a lot easier. And just seeing the excitement on the faces of the superintendents as they figured out and discovered that I was the artist behind the artwork, and they announced it too, but it was pretty funny to see people figure out that I was creating these artworks in real time. And sometimes I forget just how much I'm doing in one space. Like, I'm illustrating, I'm retaining information, I'm filtering information, I'm cycling through it, and I'm creating like this, it's almost like a comic book panel of the information that is in these various talks. And I have to be disciplined in the way of, I can't get bogged down by information. And sometimes I'll have to go on to the next thing and then circle back and maybe embellish or add color and things like that. So I'm just keeping up with the flow of the speaker or speakers. So it ended up being like a very dynamic day. And I always make sure I have like coffee and food like before I get there, because I just have to really lock in and focus. And I think what I really liked the most was, before the lunch break, there was already talk about, even before the lunch break, like pretty much after I got there, before I even started illustrating, there's already talk about them having me come back and do additional work. And that just goes to showcase not only the power of graphic recording and how that solves a problem for the client. I think it's important to remember, as an artist, as a business person, as a creative, if you get into the mind frame of, okay, what can I do to solve this problem for the client? And that could be like having beautiful artwork for their home. It could be like graphic recording. It could be photography. If you're focused on how can you service the client and, get service yourself in terms of a monetary value, and there's that overlap, that happy medium, I think it is just leads to a lot of successful interactions and relationship building from artist to client. So being in that conversation was really great. And then there was an acknowledgement at the end, which was really cool, just acknowledging the work, what goes into it. And I talked a little bit about being a special needs paraprofessional as well. So it just helps. I think one of the superintendents said this, it helps build trust if I am going in as somebody that is familiar with public schools and taught in public schools, but I've never been a superintendent. So I'm absorbing the information real time and giving my truthful, honest take on what they're talking about and putting that into the art. Like, it's in an unfiltered way. I pick up on what I think is important and I turn that into the artwork. And for the most part, there's an overlap. Like, what I'm picking up is actually the main ideas of what's being talked about. And if I missed anything, the client can just tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, can you add this? Can you add that? And it's fine. It's cool. And again, before I leave, I send the client a Dropbox folder. So they have all the information. They have everything they need to show the work throughout the rest of the day. And then the contract's complete. And everything just went so well. I think it's going to result in repeat business from this client and potentially other superintendents throughout the state as well. So it's good to get into the mind frame of letting go of any no's you might get. Like, you may have to pitch a few times before something hits and something goes through. And that's what graphic recording has been like for me. Like, initially just thinking, okay, people aren't seeing the value in it. I don't really think it's going to go anywhere, to having these big contracts and making a difference for people and helping people learn and digest information. And I think it's like one of the most rewarding things, probably the most rewarding thing that I do as an artist. So long story short is, again, one of the themes for some of these videos that I create is perseverance and trying new things and not being afraid to fall and fail. Because, You really only fail if you give up, and graphic recording is not something I want to give up on because it has a lot of value in terms of just what people can get out of it. So I'm going to end it here. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.